First things first, Beyonce has made history as the first Black female to top the country songs chart. During the Super Bowl 2 weeks ago, during a Verizon ad, she announced this new project. Turned out to be a country record. She released two new singles, Texas Hold'em and 16 Carriages. And there's a lot of uproar, so to say. A lot of people in the country world. I don't know if it was the fans of country music or if it was artists or if it was both, but there was a lot of hoopla. There was country radio stations that didn't even want to play the song, but then the internet had to get involved, forced a few of them to play the music. And there was some people making some side comments about Black people always having to make their marks on things like dogs. It was a lot of hoopla about it. Despite all of that, Beyonce still went on to have the number one song, first time ever, as a Black female artist to top the country songs chart, which is epic in itself. And in the middle of Black History Month, can't get no better than that. She also became the third Black female in history to have more than 50 top 40 hits. Nicki Minaj is another one, and Rihanna is another one. And we're talking about in history. Fast shouts to them. Beyonce's Texas Hold'em is also on track to be number one on the Billboard Hot 100 for this coming week. It landed at number 2 for last week and is on track to be number 1 for this week. So that's going to be big once that happens. So despite a lot of I could only charge it to racism. So a lot of the racists out there who had an issue with Beyonce doing country music, I could only charge it to them not understanding the history of country music. And while you hear so many people all the time say Black people invented country music, and some may hear that and may think, oh, there was a Black country artist who was the first one to do it, and then the white people came and stole the sound, etc. But it stems from the instruments that are like the staple in country music, like the banjo, which came from Africa, and it is instrument and the sound of country music. So when Black people say Black people invented it, without that banjo, country music wouldn't sound the way it sounds. So it's a fact, absolute fact, that we can say that. And for the people who have an issue with Beyonce making country music, you kind of got to do some research. Aside from the fact that she's a country girl herself and from Texas, you need to do some history on the origins of country music. What else? So I was reading a little more about it, about the origins of country music. Many early country songs were adapted from melodies and hymns performed by Black ministers in the South. That's another reason why Blacks heavily contributed to the sounds of country music this day. And also a lot of Black artists weren't credited on a lot of the early country songs from a lot of these groups that were popular, or I guess you could say made country music popular. There were a lot of Black artists behind the scenes playing on these records, and they weren't getting the credit for it because of the times. This guy named Leslie Riddle, he's a Tennessee guitarist. He often accompanied the Carter family, who was a 3-person folk country group. They're credited as being one of the early groups that popularized country music, Leslie Riddle. He traveled with them, and he would memorize melodies, and he also influenced what they called the Carter Scratch. That was by one of the other members in the group, Mother Mabel Carter, her signature playing technique that they call the Carter Scratch. It was influenced by Leslie Riddle's percussive style of playing. Also, you got someone named Rufus T-Top Payne. He mentored a young Hank Williams, who's another artist who is said to be one of the early artists for country music. He mentored him and taught him how to play guitar. He exposed him to different genres that Hank would later incorporate into his sound. All of this is reasons why Black people is at the forefront of the sound of country music. We were right there, hands on for all of it at the beginning. So for anybody who have an issue with Beyonce doing country music, do your research on why it wouldn't be what it is without us. And that's all I got to say about that. Dolly Parton, though, despite some people having issues with it, Dolly Parton is actually one that is embracing it and embracing Beyonce and her foray into country music. And Dolly Parton released a statement on her Instagram. She said, "I'm a big fan of Beyonce and very excited that she's done a country album. So congratulations on your Billboard Hot Country #1 single. Can't wait to hear the full album. Love, Dolly." So yeah, fat shouts to Dolly Parton. Fat shouts to Beyonce on making history. And fat shouts to us on this Black History Month for being so damn dope. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Fat shouts to us. Yeah. All right, moving on. What else hiding these blogs? Wendy Williams, her Lifetime documentary that a lot of you may have seen already, is a 2-part documentary set to air on Saturday and Sunday over the weekend. But her guardian, because if you don't know, she's under this like conservatorship of some sort. So she has like this guardian, etc. They filed a lawsuit against Lifetime's parent company to try to stop the documentary from showing. It's unclear why. The documentary is called Where Is Wendy Williams? Her name is Sabrina Morrissey, who claims to be acting in her capacity as temporary guardian of Wendy Williams. And she fired off this lawsuit against A&E television networks. The details of the suit are sealed. However, based on this report, both the timing of the filing and the fact that Sabrina is seeking a temporary restraining order indicate that it may be an expedited legal maneuver, if you will, to block the broadcast from airing, because this was filed like a day or two before it was set to air, which is kind of strange though, because this doc been being promoted for weeks now, and you wait until the day before to file a lawsuit to try to get it blocked. But I'm sure why. It's unfortunate in general what's going on with Wendy Williams. She was just diagnosed with having aphasia and frontotemporal dementia. So factor that on top of her not being able to see her money with this bank, it's a bad time. It's a bad time. One of her lawyers, an entertainment attorney who worked with Wendy in the past, they recently posted a video on social media, which they say is from 2 weeks prior to her having to go to New York to face these conservatorship things. And in this video, Wendy looks like her old self. She's joking. She's talking regular and like she looks regular. And so this legal rep is basically implying that there's something bigger going on. So they posted the video and they said, "I weighed this decision for a very long time. I have kept silent because I have been threatened with physical and financial harm, but I just couldn't keep silent any longer. While Wendy was in Miami with her son, I would often witness candid moments of their mother and son dynamic. I could tell that he loves his mother so much, and as you can see, the feeling was mutual." They said, "You can clearly see the difference between Wendy's well-being during her time here in Florida with her son caring for her and her lack thereof in New York under this guardianship. These Wendys are not the same." They said, "How did her health deteriorate so quickly? And why isn't her only child allowed to be by her side?" She wasn't like that when he cared for her. She said, ask the hard questions. She said, I took this video literally 2 weeks before Wendy was court ordered to return to New York to respond to a guardianship petition filed by her bank. Let that sink in. She says, if Whitney's diagnosis is true, now more than ever, her son should be allowed that same grace. He deserves it. And most importantly, Wendy deserves it. And the grace she's speaking of is being able to spend time with his mom. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I read some other reports from certain family members who saying they're unable to get in contact with her. I don't know what this guardianship thing is about, this conservatorship thing is about, but it's more than just the bank withholding her money and her having this person who is set to be over the affairs. If her family is unable to even see her or be around her, like, that's kind of weird. I was also a little confused about guardianships in general, conservationships in general. I know that it's typically when a person is unable, they feel unable to make, certain decisions for themselves, or they feel they're being taken advantage of. But my thing is, why does a bank have the ability to file for something like this? Like, my thing is, so what if a person is coming in there, let's just say, and withdrawing hundreds of thousands of dollars? Like, so what? Why is that their business what a person is doing with their money? To the point of you now having it where she can't even fend for herself financially. That's a little weird to me. I don't understand the legalities of it and why that's even possible. But there got to be a better way, especially. And then if you are going to do that, why not appoint someone who's in the family, or I don't know. She has a whole son, adult son, and yeah, it's just a little weird. Something about that don't sit right with me. We know most recently Britney Spears had a similar situation, and she had to fight and fight to get out of it. And it's just like, I don't know, that's kind of shouldn't be able to be a thing from the bank. But I don't know. This person, Miami ENT Law is the Instagram where this former attorney posted this video of Wendy from. Someone in the comments asked her, who removed you from the case? She said, the guardianship judge threatened to have me disbarred and deleted my contact info from Wendy's phone so she couldn't contact me. She said, I'm just praying and hoping that God hears me. And I mean, I don't know. This is what she's claiming. And who knows what the real is, but there's something definitely wrong about it, about this situation. I haven't gotten to watch the documentary yet. I definitely plan to check it out, but it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate to watch someone who was such a staple in media go down this way, to the point of having dementia and things of that nature. And it makes me wonder if all of this played a part in that, like just from being stressed for what was going on. It's enough to drive a person crazy. It makes me wonder if all of that has something to do with why she now has this medical condition. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but hopefully it works out. Hopefully, if her son is unable to see her right now and he wants to, hopefully he's able to see her soon. Life is too short. And Yeah, that's all I got to say on that. Fat shouts to Wendy Williams, though. Hopefully she comes out on the other end of this good. Let's move on. What else hot in these blogs? I want to talk about Washington, D.C. They have this measure in place that they are looking to, it's called Security DC, and they're looking to basically, in a nutshell, criminalize any item that covers a substantial portion of someone's face. And if the police believe that this person is intending to commit a crime, they are able to arrest them without any proof, without anything. So if you are, I don't know if this is the case in every state, but if you're in on the East Coast, like me being from New York, I see it all the time. A lot of young people wear these face masks these days, like ski mask is almost like a part of their fits. You know, you put on your sneakers, you put on the face mask. I don't get it all the way, but it's happening with these younger kids these days. And granted, some people may be doing wrong with these ski masks on, but it's not everyone. But that's kind of what this bill is kind of leaning towards. So Mayor Bowser and this councilwoman, what's her name? Brooke Pinto, they are behind the bill. And one part of it says, it shall be unlawful for any person over 16 years of age while wearing any mask or other article whereby a substantial portion of the face is hidden, concealed, or covered. They cannot enter any building, any public property with these masks on. Mayor Bowser is saying that it's solely for ski masks. She wants to get these kids to get these ski masks off their face. But a lot of people feel like this thing is too broad. The fact that it says any mask or article whereby a substantial portion of the face is covered, hidden, or concealed is more than just a ski mask. We just came off a pandemic where we had to wear face masks. There are definitely a lot of people who still wear face masks. That's covering a substantial part of the face where one's identity could be concealed. So that kind of falls into this too. Some people feel that it's so broad that it even could include hoodies, bandanas, hijabs, even scarves. So it's a thin line, and it could be a little murky. Another part of it is if you are wearing anything that covers your face and the police believe that you intend to engage in a crime, this measure will allow the police to arrest you. That sounds a lot like profiling. That sounds a lot like the stop and frisk that we had in New York and still have. I think they just like call it something else now, like level 1, level 2 stop, something like that. But yeah, it's going to allow for profiling. And that never really goes too well for us anyway, if you look like me. Some people feel that it will basically widen racial disparities. My thing is the fact that the police can arrest you just even if they suspect or that you may be intending to do a crime is like, how can you suspect that if I just got a mask on? Like, I don't know. All I know is that this definitely opens the door for racial profiling because it's really us that's wearing these masks. And the fact that it's so broad that it's including like most face coverings, I don't know. It just kind of opens the door for that. So a lot of people are against it. I don't know exactly what's going to come of it, if it's going to come to pass or not. But if you want more info, you could look up the bill yourself, securedc.org is where you can find out more info on this bill. But yeah. All right, what else? What else we got? Last but not least, what's hot in these blogs? There's a black-owned bakery that lost $16,000 because Tesla decided to cancel a pie order at the last minute. The Given Pies is the name of the place. It's in California. And someone from Tesla called and placed the order for 2,000 pies. Yes, 2,000 pies initially they placed this order for. And I would expect that a business will require someone, especially with a large order, would require a deposit of some sorts, which I think this person did. But when they reached out to Tesla about the money, the payment, Tesla basically apologized and blamed it on the vendor and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry they didn't pay you yet. I think they're a new vendor. And also, can you double the order?" So it went from 2,000 pies with no payment and only an apology to 4,000 pies. And this lady, I don't know if it's because it's Tesla, she felt they're good for it. I don't know. But either way, she dug in her own pocket, bought extra supplies. She paid her employees to work around the clock. She canceled other catering orders that were coming in because she needed to focus all her time to create these 4,000 pies for Tesla. Only for Tesla, maybe a day before the pies were set to be delivered, canceled the order. Via text, by the way. They didn't even call or anything. They text like, yeah, we're not gonna need those. The text actually read, "It's unfortunate and sounds like we will be changing plans and will not be needing this order. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it." Like, what? After you just had me in this kitchen for as well. My thing is though, I feel like this lady dropped the ball because no way you should have even started such a large order without payment. The first time you had to reach out for payment because you didn't get it was enough to be like, nah. And then for them to double the order, like, yeah, you could double it, but send me my bread first, and then I'm going to start it. Like, how you start this order working around the clock without any sort of payment? Like, what? I don't care. I don't care who it is. I know people who make one cake, a specialty cake for like a wedding or a birthday party or something, and they require a deposit. And that's just one cake. You out here making 4,000 pies with no money? It's got to be a lesson. Let this be a lesson to her because no bueno. She mentioned that she worked with other big companies, and so she felt this would go well, but yikes. I think Tesla ended up saying that they was going to still try to pay her for the pies after this story went viral on social media, but yeah, I definitely got to show her the money because that's kind of wild. The fact that she turned down other catering orders and all of that, bad business, bad business.